All right. I think we're good to go ahead and start here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. And welcome to a Monday stream. It's so weird. It does not feel like a Monday at all, but that's because here in the U.S., it is a holiday. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody in the U.S. Hope you all had a great, relaxing 3-day weekend if you got one. I did see in chat before we started. Hello, Historian Hopeful. Happy to see you here. Hope you're having a good end of your 3-day weekend. I hope you had a 3-day weekend because I know some people, unfortunately, they do have to work and they don't get 3-day weekends. I mean, I was like that when I worked at a museum. I was working like guest services. I pretty much got like no 3-day weekends. There was a period in my life where it was like 5 or 6 years roughly, where it was like, because my undergrad school didn't celebrate or didn't do anything for most 3-day weekends, so it didn't matter. So for 4 years of that, and then once I got out of undergrad, my first job was doing like guest services at a museum. So I had to work all 3-day weekends, so they didn't mean anything to me after that. Then after that, I didn't work for a little bit and was doing like traveling and stuff like that. So 3-day weekends also didn't mean anything during that time. So it was a good like 5-6 years where 3-day weekends didn't mean anything to me. But now I can say they actually do mean something. Yeah, so like I said, this is Monday, so it's not our normal stream day. I do have a reason though for why I didn't stream yesterday, and I'll get into that in a second. I did before that. I think I want to show you real quick what we're going to be researching today. So let me go ahead. Hold on. Let me move myself real quick. Myself smaller. Okay. So if you haven't been here the past few streams, we have been researching the people in these photos. We've already done the top two you see here. The first one, this one, turned out to be very interesting because the name on the back of the photo, Charlie Cummings, is actually not the person in the photo. It's the photographer. And so so we ended up researching the photographer for this one, not the guy in the photo. But it turned out to be really interesting. The guy was a photographer for decades, and then he became justice of the peace, and then the city attorney for a local Midwest city in Illinois, and then became a coroner, and then died while he was examining a body. Just an insane series of events with this guy. And then our last stream, we researched this woman, Etta Holsey, and it was an interesting one. We didn't find anything too crazy. She was a farmer all of her life. The craziest thing was when we discovered how wealthy her family was, because she was the executor of her uncle's will, and it was revealed that he had bonds and everything worth, and land value worth over $200,000 in 1916, which is about $6 million in today's money. So they weren't initially I was picturing oh, maybe they were kind of poor, working class, farmers. No, they were the wealthy landowner kind of farmers. So that was a fun one to discover that. And then today, we have our next photo, which is going to be this guy right here. Already off the bat, we know that this photo was written at the bottom there. We can see it was photographed by a group called the Pack Bros, or Pack Brothers, PACH, and it was taken in Cambridge, Massachusetts. However, thankfully, even if it didn't say Cambridge, Massachusetts on there, we actually wouldn't really need it to know that, because on the back of the photo, we have up there at the top his name, which all we have right now is his first two initials, EJ, and then Lake is his last name. But underneath that, you can see right there, it says Harvard 1892. So this means, or my theory is that this guy was wicked smart, as they say in Boston, and he went to Harvard and graduated in 1892. And if you were here for this was like back in like November or something like that, we did another stream where it was actually no wait yeah that was the first photography stream we ever did. The first photography stream we ever did where we were researching a photograph. And the photograph was of a woman from roughly this same time period. And next to it, it said her name, which I'm blanking off top of my head right now. But like below her name, it said Bates 04. 04 referring to the year 1904. And when I saw the name Bates, I didn't realize that was a school name. I thought that was like her like married name. That like they just continued her name onto the next line and that the photo was taken in 04. But then after doing some research, we found out that it was not only that it was her college. She went to Bates College and graduated in 1904. Which is a crazy thing to discover. And then also we discovered that the photo that I own of her, and again, I'm blanking on her name, but I know, hold on, wait, what was her, I have the files. Where is it? Edna North, that's who it was. Edna M. North. That was her name. And she basically, she went to this college and graduated in 1904, and we were able to find the 1904 yearbook. And the photo in the yearbook for her was the exact same photo that I own. So I own her graduation photo, which was just crazy to make that discovery live on stream. In fact, actually, it is a, if you go to my YouTube channel, I think it's my most recent short that I made on YouTube is actually about that stream and like how we made that discovery and everything. So you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend it. Oh, and speaking of YouTube short, I am currently working on another one that I'm hoping will be out by the end of this week. I'm hoping. We'll see, but I think it should be up by probably Saturday. So look forward to that. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel already, greatly, you can see it linked down below. Highly recommend that. But yeah, so this is what we're going to be researching today. But before we do that, I just want to really quick share a little bit about where I was yesterday and why I couldn't stream yesterday, why I couldn't stream last night, and why we're streaming tonight instead. So hold on, let me get this set up. Should be able to see it now. All right, here we go. So I went on a day trip to visit some friends who were visiting the East Coast. And if you can't tell by this photo, I was in New York City. I actually was in New York City not that long ago, back in September, before I went to my UK trip. So I'm just going to talk about this really quick, just because I think there was some cool stuff. First of all, it was snowing this weekend, and it was very, very pretty walking around Central Park and New York City in general. Just how pretty it was, seeing everything covered in snow. It didn't make walking through the park that easy, though. We had to be very careful because they hadn't salted like most of the pathways yet. So there was just a lot of like being very careful and trying not to slip or fall on our face. But yeah, and just walking around, you can see back there, it was so like cloudy and like actively snowing at this point that like you can see the Empire State Building in the back there and everything. Just some really cool, really nice stuff. But the main thing that I did when I was in New York City was did a quick trip to the Met. And when I say quick trip, I mean like we were there for like 5 hours at this point, or 6 hours, I think is how long we were there. Hey, Onion, good to see you. Wow, a 20 stream streak. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate that. Wow, that has to be since like November or something like that. Like that's crazy. But thank you so much for being here. Just talking a little bit about where I was yesterday and why we're streaming today instead. But yeah, so did a quick trip to the Met, and I did this specifically because the nice thing about working at a museum is that it gets you into most other museums for free. As long as you show like your work badge, something like that, to prove that you work at another museum, you can get in for free. And sometimes, depending on the museum, you can get your guests in for free as well. So that was a nice little plus with this one. And did the usual stuff, walking around the Met. Like I said, I was just there in September, so nothing really new. But there was one thing or two things that I wanted to share that I thought were interesting. The first was this, which I think perfectly demonstrates why you need to be careful with lighting in your exhibits. So this is in the Egypt exhibit, which is huge in the Met. The Met itself is huge. It's really incredible, like how much they have in that place. But you can see here, you can see exactly where all of the artifacts used to be on display because of the color change in the background. And this fading like this is caused specifically from the lighting of the exhibit. So this is why I always say that light can be one of the most damaging things your objects are exposed to. Hello, Pirate. Welcome on in. Good to see you. Welcome on in. I know this is not our our normal stream time, but glad you can make it anyway. Also, I did see your message and I did respond to it. And funnily enough, I've actually already bought that game. I bought that game in the last in the winter sale. And so look forward to me playing that soon. The game I'm talking about is called The Root Trees Are Dead. It's a genealogy, like, puzzle mystery, like, murder mystery game. And I bought that in the most recent Steam sale, and I'm going to play it on stream maybe next month or two. I don't know. We'll see. And yes, yeah, I know it's not Sunday. But here I'm explaining why I wasn't able. I was in New York City. I was in the Big Apple. I was at the Met, visiting some friends. So that's why I couldn't stream yesterday. But yeah, anyway, this right here is exactly why lighting is very important when it comes to exhibits and what artifacts you put on display. Now, most likely these materials were made out of metal and gemstones and stones and stuff like that. Those aren't specifically affected that much by light. Friends again, you must be a famous person with all these friends. Honestly, it's the same friends, so that's the thing. When I say friends, most of the time it's the same ones, so it's not really that crazy. But yeah, so luckily these materials, they were okay in terms of being exposed to light, but this is just a good example of why you have to be careful and why most museums don't leave things on display for this long. They constantly are good museums will rotate materials and objects out so that way they don't get exposed to stuff for this long, and you don't wind up with imprints on your exhibit backing. There was a museum I interned at where we were taking down their it was like a historic like firearms exhibit, so it was like old like muskets and pistols and stuff like that. And it had been on display for like 40 years or something like that. And there was a lot of this in the display cases. But what was worse is that because of they were muskets and handguns and stuff, was that they had wood with them. And the wood is what's going to be damaged in that situation, where it's going to get like light bleached and everything. So yeah, and then there was one other thing I saw at the Met that I just wanted to share, just because I think I'll just show you. It's Buff Jesus. It's Buff Jesus. He gained for our sins. He has he has abs I've never even seen on a human body before. Look at that. He has like a halo of abs on his chest. It's just one of my favorite things with medieval art is just how they depict various things. Specifically Jesus, baby Jesus, um, and like some of maybe like the saints or apostles and stuff like that. Because it's always ridiculous. Like they really made like this is almost like a he almost has like the Giga Chad like chin too and everything here, and like how he's looking and everything. Like that is it is just really it's just so funny. Like these depictions of him. I don't know. I just thought it was fun. I didn't like I said, I didn't want to talk too much about the Met because I was just there in September and I already shared photos from that when I was there for my UK trip. But yeah. So let me go ahead and close that. And for those of you who are just now joining us, just to real quick go over again what we're going to be looking at today. We are going to be looking at, we're going to be researching this guy in this photo. His name, as you can see on the top there, is E.J. Lake. So we don't have his full name, but we have something else that's also really important, which is right next to it, right below that, actually. It says Harvard 92. So this guy likely went to Harvard in 1892. So we have a great starting off point to probably find some good information on him. It's going to be very similar to like if anybody was here for that one stream where we had another, it was a woman where we were researching her college yearbook and we were able to find the exact same photo. So I don't know if the same exact thing is going to happen here, but we'll see. If it happened twice in a row, that's like crazy. But yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and go to our camera scene here so we can all right. There we go. All right. So we're going to be starting on something a little different today. We're not going to be starting on ancestry like we normally do. Instead, because we know specifically that this guy went to Harvard in 1892, we're going to see if we can find him. So I did, just before this, I did just a tiny little bit of preliminary research. I know I don't like to, do this type of research off stream or anything like that. I like to do everything on stream, but for this, I just wanted to double check just to make sure that everything looked good. So I have not clicked on any of these yet. What I did was, this is Harvard Library's their own personal collections, their special collections for Harvard themselves. I specifically made it for the year 1892 in the filters. And we have a few things here. And so I'm hoping that they have digitized some stuff here. So let's go ahead and let's see. So let's start with this one. This might take a while to load. Let's see if it has... Okay, does it have online access? Aha, okay. Photograph app room with clippings. Okay, wait, this is class of 1852. Okay, hold on. Does this... Is this only 1852? I think this is. Because it's weird, because it says... Okay, wait. Because here... Oh, approximately. Compiled Oh, okay, I see. So that's when it was made. Approximately 1900. Okay, I'm nervous that there might not be anything available. Okay, let's try this one real quick. I'm hoping there is something here. Oh no, has it not been digitized? Class album 18. Let's see. Oh no, is it not? Oh, they do have something here, but it hasn't been digitized. I've seen that game and I know 2 people who will like it, and you were one of them. Thank you. Thank you, Pirate. Yeah, no, I was already ahead of you on that one because I already got it. So I appreciate you though, sharing it and like thinking that that I would like it because I definitely did. Okay, yeah, no, these are. Is this a... Hold on. Let's see what this one is real quick. The album has leather binding with gold trim. Photographs of the class of 1861. Okay, so it's not... That's why... Hold on. Because this one, the online access, is also going to be... Yeah. God, this would have been so good if we got this for ours. If they had digitized this one, because this is exactly what we need, is this type of a thing. So we can tell. Okay, hold on. Class albums and yearbooks. Yeah, because we want this one. Class albums are bound collections of original photographic prints that typically include images of students, faculty, staff, campus views and buildings, and other local people or scenes. Students could often assemble their own class albums, choosing from a set of images provided by the year's photographer. For many years, the archives hold several versions of the class album. Okay. Hold on, if we go here again. What if I just search... Okay, hold on. Maybe not class album, but like... Lake... Oh, but that's such a common name. And we don't have a first name. Hold on. Let's make it 18. Let's do 1888 to 1900. Whoops. And then like 1800. Okay. Glacial Lake. It's all just gonna be pictures of lakes, probably. But it's worth a shot. Personal archive. No. Papers of Solon, Irving Bailey. Maybe? Papers of George. I mean, we really aren't going to be able to look at things. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. That might be something. Harvard Biblical Club. Okay, that could also be... Oh, no, that's just finding aid. We're going to want... Let's see. Papers. No, no. Finding aid, finding aid. Yeah, we don't want things with just finding aid. Okay, hold on. Collection inventory. Let's see. 1893. I mean, this is just assuming that they were in the... 1894, 1896. Okay, yeah, no, most of these are actually... Yeah, this album, because this album is after he graduated. By 1 year. 1 year off. Okay, so it's likely not in there. Collection inventory. Articles about. Records relating to expeditions. Peruvian life and wandering. No. Okay, I don't think this is gonna be him. Yeah, any of this. If only they had digitized that one. Wait, what was the one that was like the... Wasn't there one... Did I not click on it? Wasn't there one that was like the Bible Club? Oh no, it was just because it's just the records. It doesn't have the actual, like... There's no... It hasn't digitized. This is why digitization is so important. This is why digitization is super important. Because now unless I go to Harvard, I could message them. Which, depending on how the rest of this goes tonight, I could message them. With that, we might have to just... Because what we could do is that once we figure out what his first name is, then we could come back here and do the search. And see if maybe he comes up in anything. So I think, for now, I'll just type EJ first, Lake, and I'll put Cambridge, Massachusetts, because he is in Harvard. We don't know birth year, but we know he was there. I'm going to assume we know 1892, but okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and try that. Lake, unfortunately, is a kind of a common last name. So it's making me nervous that we're going to have a million results, but let's just go for it. Okay. And we know he would have to be there in 1892. Oh, wait. School list and yearbooks. E.J. Lake. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Oh my god, wait. Are there... What year is this? Geographical distribution. E.J. Lake, Hartford, Connecticut. Okay, wait. Is this... What type of a book is this? Hold on. Hold on. What type of a book is this? Yeah, this is Harvard. Okay. Okay. So here he's also listed as just E.J. Lake, which is not helpful. But... Oh, can we search within this? Because hold on, does this have... Let's go to the beginning of this book. Oh, they have to have the... the first, they included the color target, which, hey, is important to make sure you're getting color accuracy. Harvard College, class of 1892. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, this is an anniversary report. Okay. 30th anniversary report. Okay. So this is actually from 1922. Okay, sorry. Members of the class, record of the class, deaths, fathers of Harvard sons, occupations, geographical distribution. Okay, this is great. Okay, so I'm pretty confident we found him. This is him. This is the guy. This is E.J. Lake. Now. Okay, so hold on. We have page 3 is records of the class. I'm assuming they're going to be in ABC order. So let's see. This is just the report. Okay. Members. Okay, this is going to have full names. Oh, please have his full name. Okay, we're in B's. Oh, there's a lot of people. Please give us a full name. G-H... Yes! There he is! Everett John Lake. We found him. Ah, oh, thank God. Okay, Everett John Lake. SB Worcester Polytech Institute, 1890, honors, Wesleyan, 19. Everett John Lake. Okay, we got him. Whew, thank God. Okay. That's awesome. So hold on, I'm going to leave this on here. I'm going to open another... Oh yeah, what? Because I saw this one here too. What is this one? Okay, this is also the report. Oh, this is his address. Class report of Everett J. Lake, 17 Albany Avenue, Hartford, Connecticut. Okay, so he moved to Hartford, Connecticut. Okay, hold on. Let's try... Hold on, make sure I'm spelling it right. So now we know. Everett John Lake. Nope. Okay, let's try Everett Lake. Get rid of the quotes, maybe? Or is it just going to give me everything that has lake in it? Or Everett. Yeah, it's giving me everything that has Everett and lake in it. Not next to each other. Which isn't what I want. Okay. But hey, we got it. Okay, hold on. I just want to also see... Oh, we got some C directories too. Okay. But it makes me wonder what he was studying. Let me open this again real quick. But let's first... Hold on, let me go to... Wow, so they just happen to have specifically that year. Because what were the other things? There's page like 3. No. What were the other things listed? Okay, records of the class. Yeah. Deaths, father, sons, occupation. Okay, let's see if we can find occupations, maybe? Yeah, because then we found address list. We found him in geographical distribution, and we found him in... I mean, I feel like the geographical distribution and address list is a little bit, like, repetitive. Okay. 288. So let's try 299. Oh, no, wait. Hold on. Class autobiography. Oh, wait. Is this going to have everything for him? Hold on. Okay, hold on. Wait. We have to go way back. Let's try 150. Horn. Okay, let's try 180. Okay, Lewis. Let's go back. Lee. Latham. Landon. Lands. There he is. John Lake. Oh my god, this has... This is basically everything. Wow, okay. Everett John Lake, born Woodstock, Connecticut, February 8th, 1871. Son of Thomas Alexander and Martha Ann Cockings Lake. Prepared for college at Stormsburg High School, Stormsburg, Nebraska. So he was born in Connecticut, but then I guess his family moved to Nebraska. Attended Harvard 1890 to 92, law school 1992 to 93. Degrees AB 92, SB Worcester Polytech Institute, an honorable degree from Wesleyan from 1921. Married to Ava Louise Sykes, daughter of George and Sarah Sykes, at Rockville, Connecticut, September 4th, 1895. Children: Harold Sykes, born September 3rd, 1896. Marjorie Sykes, born March 1st, 1900. Occupation: President of the Hartford Lumber Company. Wait, Governor of Connecticut? Wait. Governor of Connecticut? This dude was. I have a picture of the governor from Connecticut. 1900 Prospect Avenue, Hartford, Connecticut. Business, 17 Albany Avenue. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on, no, I have to look up something else. I have to look up something else. Hold on, wait. Governors of Connecticut. Okay, hold on. Here we go. List of governors of Connecticut. Oh my god. I have a picture of the governor of Connecticut. This was at an antique store in California. I bought this at an antique store in California in a random box just shuffled around of photographs. And this guy was the governor. This guy was the governor of Connecticut. That's him. Ooh, married twice. Wonder why. I'm at a loss for words. And yeah, looking at the photo that I have above me and looking at this photo right here, that's the same guy. This is so crazy. Yeah, I have how in the world this ended up crossing, because because at first I thought, okay, when I saw, like, I thought that crossed my mind after I realized he was the governor. I was like, okay, maybe this was like some promotional photo or something like that, or like some sort of, like, thing, like, when he was running or when he was governor or something like that. But no, looking at the back of it, the fact that it's handwritten and it says specifically it's his initial name, it's not his full name, and it says Harvard 92. I think this was a personal photo, either given to him or like a family member or something like that. This is wow. I mean, he only was governor for just for that one term, 2 years. And from the looks of it, most governors during that time were a few years, but still. Everett John Lake, Connecticut's 50th governor, born in Woodstock, Connecticut, yep. February 8th, 1871, graduated from Worcester Polytech in 1890 and Harvard University in 1892, where he also played football and made the All-American team. Before he entered public service, Lake worked for the Hartford Lumber Company, serving as the company's president from 1900 to 1939. He entered politics in 1903 as a member of the Connecticut House of Representatives, an office he held until 1905. He also served as a member of the Connecticut State Senate from 1905 to 1907 and was Connecticut's lieutenant governor from 1907 to 1909. Lake won the 1920 Republican gubernatorial nomination and was elected governor of Connecticut. During his tenure, he endorsed legislation that benefited labor. Okay. A bill was enacted that prohibited child laborers from working more than 8 hours a day. I mean, it's progress. It's not just banning child labor, but, you know, it's helpful. And legislation was constituted that withheld employment certificates from children who were deficient in required schooling. Lake left office on January 3rd, 1923, and retired from public service. Governor Everett J. Lake died on September 16th, 1948, in Hartford, Connecticut. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. We're not even an hour into the stream, and we already found something crazy like this. We're not even an hour into our... I mean, we almost don't even have to do any more research. It's like that's it. We know everything about this guy, basically. And we'll still, like... Oh my god, there's gonna be so many newspapers on this guy. There's gonna be so many newspapers. I mean, we could just look up, like, probably... He has to have a Wikipedia article. But I feel like that destroys some of the fun. So let's not look at that yet. Let's actually focus on... Let's actually focus on, like, finding stuff the old-fashioned way, the traditional way that we do it. God. This is crazy. And this was just... That's what blows my mind, is that this was just in an antique store in middle of nowhere, California, in a box filled with dozens of other, like, miscellaneous, shuffled all around, not, like, stacked nicely or anything like that. Oh, God, that is... Hold on, okay. Let me... There is one other thing I want to check real quick. I want to see if this photograph, like... Okay. Okay, when you Google him... When you Google him, this photo does not come up. Like, the photos that come up are him, like, when he's, like, governor and stuff like that. It makes me wonder if this is maybe, like, an undiscovered, like, if they don't have any... Hold on. Connecticut... Okay, hold on. This research stream is taking a whole other turn. Do they have... Let's see... People? This is just it's gonna be actual lakes. Okay, hold on. No, this isn't. Do they have like a? They have a search this site, but I want like a. Do they have like a database? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, let me. Let me go back. Let's try this one, maybe. Maybe we can find something. It's taking a while to load, unfortunately, but... Why is this taking so long to load? This is even longer than normal for something like this. Okay, let's try... Okay. Let's try this. This is the Connecticut State Library. Okay. Let's see. Special Acts Resolution General Assembly. Hold on, wait, do they have... Let me think. Okay, 56. I just want to see if they have, like, photographs. This is mostly, okay, yeah, stuff that he did while he was governor and while he was in the Senate. Limitation, okay, connected bridge. Hold on. Is this gonna have his name on it? Okay, commissioners. Implementation committee. There he is, yeah. Lieutenant, okay, this is when he was lieutenant governor. Okay. Okay, so they do have stuff in here of him. But yeah, this is mostly... Yeah, this is mostly his, like, documents. I want photographs. Personnel overseas. Special acts. Oh, wait, there was something I saw just... Hartford and its point of interest. Hold on, page 55. Oh, the Hartford Lumber Co. That's... Hold on. That's, yeah, that's where he worked. Is that like a picture of his office? Yeah. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Officers Board of Education Capital. Okay, hold on. The Hartford Lumber Company, number 17 Albany Avenue, one of the best and most favorably known firms in its line of business in the state of the Hartford Lumber Co. at number 17 Albany Avenue. In this house ought to be well known, not only for its transactions immense and its trade in great importance, but it has also been far-sighted enough to keep its name before the public by a system of judicious advertising, which has doubtless had much to do with its success. It was founded 35 years ago by messengers J.W. Starkweather and Co., who were succeeded by the present from 6 years ago. The officers of this company are as follows: Thomas A. Lake, president; Everett A. Lake, secretary. Okay, wait. So I think that might be a mistake that they didn't put J. But so is Thomas his brother? There are spacious yards cover 3 acres of ground and a very heavy stock of the various goods dealt in is at all times on hand. All others will receive prompt and careful attention and will be filled with the best goods at the lowest market rates. Mr. Thomas Lake, president of the company, also owns a lumber yard at Rockville, Connecticut, and his goods are shipped all over Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Mr. Everett A. Lake, the younger member of the firm, has recently graduated from Harvard College. Oh, so this is before he was governor and everything. Wow. This is wow. Okay, I see we have ads starting soon, so I'm going to stop for a second and just kind of take pause. This is nuts. Wow. Okay, hold on. I need to look up something else real quick. Okay. Ads are going real quick. I'm going to look up something that's not necessarily related. Oh wait, hold on. Okay. Let's see. Okay, hold on. A few different things here. Okay. People? Okay. Okay. What I'm doing is right now is I'm looking up in a different thing. I'm looking up possible just various Connecticut historical societies. Wow, okay. Hold on. Okay, I think... Okay, ads are almost over, so... Oh, wow, this is... This is, I think, one of the... This, I think, is one of the craziest things we've discovered in a long time. In terms of who somebody is. Now, this is ironically not the first time we've had a governor on this stream where the person it turns out we were researching was a governor. There was another time when we were doing a patent research stream where the guy we were researching turned out to be the future governor of Ohio. Okay, so yes, we found this, and we found this, which is very good. Hold on, can I... Let me go back here real quick. I think that was really kind of the only... Yeah. Everything else here is mostly, like, government stuff. Let's look at this. This is Connecticut Digital Archive. Everett Lake. And let's see if we found... Nothing. Everett... J Lake? Okay. Okay, now we got stuff. State Senate. Okay, yeah, so these are all things of him when he was a senator. Autograph collection, finding aid. Wait. Curious what the autograph is. Does this have him in it? Oh yeah, EJ. Oh wait, I think this is the thing we already saw. Yeah, this is... Yeah, Everett J. Lake, Governor. Dear Mr. Woods, I am in receipt of your favor of May 12th asking me for some suggestive criticism of the Literary Digest? I must tell you frankly that I am not able to give it to you. The Digest fills just about such a place in my life as does breakfast when we have a good cook at the house. It has fitted into my daily life, and I have just that feeling that if I should begin to inject my own ideas, the result would be to change from something with which I am now satisfied to something I would, in all probability, very quickly tire of. In other words, I think you know your job better than I do. With the very best wishes, I am very truly yours, Everett J. Lake. Okay, so this is also crazy. That like, okay, so this is the Larry Digest coming out to him, asking him like, "Hey, do you have any criticism for like how we could run things better?" And he's like, "Nah, man, just keep doing what you're doing. You know better than me." Okay. Oh, those are all newspapers. Is there a thing that can be images? Persons? No. Uh, subject, genre, newspapers, publications, state government records, periodicals, scrapbooks. Scrapbooks? Social scrapbook. Okay, a lot of scrapbooks. What's the oldest one? 1894. Okay, let's try this one. I feel like if it is likely going to have that picture in it. Oh, okay, wait. Mark Twain's scrapbook. Okay, wait, can I... Okay, hold on. Everett. Okay. Edward Everett, no. Everett B. Preston, no. Mr. Everett, no. Hale, no. Here you go. Oh, this is Marjorie. That's his wife. Oh, wait, no, that's his daughter. Sorry, daughter. Marjorie was their daughter. Governor and Mrs. Everett J. Lake have issued invitations to a dance to be given on Friday evening, January 21st at the Hartford Club in honor of their daughter, Miss Marjorie Skies Lake, who will make her debut in society at that time. Miss Lake, who attended Miss Spencer's school in New York, spent last winter in a trip around the world, having been absent from the city more than 8 months. She spent most of that time in Japan, China, and India, sailing from California in the fall of 1919 with a group of school friends. Okay, so that's their daughter, which doesn't really help us a ton. Okay, wait, hold on. So that's what these are. It's mostly just like, yeah, like stuff like that. Um where what else? Let me make it all again. Oh, image? Try that. Okay, it's just the State Senate of Connecticut. Okay. I'm just trying to see what else. Let me see. What about this? This is the place to begin your research into printed materials and manuscripts. Okay, this is not exact. This is, yeah. Okay, this is like an actual like library, so that's not really going to be helpful to us. And I almost kind of wish that I had like saved this for a stream at our normal time, because then I think more people would have been able to see this. But man, this is crazy. So Everett J. Lake seems to be the name that he went by a lot, like the main name that he went by. Okay, well, actually, before I say, okay, I think it's safe to say there's not really much on him in terms of like these state archives and everything. I mean, he was only a governor for like 2 years, but still. Okay, so let's actually go back here now that we know his full name. Everett Lake. We know he was born. You know a lot about him now. 1871. And also, wait, yeah, there was... I don't even think we finished reading this. We didn't even finish reading his own thing because we got so sidetracked. I was in the YMCA service with the troops in France during the war. My stations were at Brest and Marseilles, and with the 26th Division while they were in the Toul sector. My son Harold S. Lake graduated from Harvard in 1920. He served in the Navy during the war. After his preparation on this side, receiving the commission of ensign, and was assigned to 2 months service on the battleship Michigan, followed by 8 months service on the destroyer Cummings during convoy duty out of Brest, Liverpool, and Southampton. Of the societies, member of Hartford Golf, Republicans Club of Hartford, Country Club of Farmington, Beefsteak Club. That's a crazy club name. Beefsteak Club, Graduates Club of New Haven, Harvard Club of New York, Masonic to 32nd degree, Oddfellows, Knights of Pythias, Foresters, and Elks. Most of this was about, like, his son. Because, wait, yeah, because if this is in 1922, this is when he's governor, is when he's writing this. So then, hold on, wait, 1009 Prospect Avenue. Hold on, let me pull up. I want to know if that's, now that we actually have like exact addresses for these two things, I'm going to pull up Google Maps real quick. We want to go to Hartford. Here we go. Okay, so we want to look for 1009 Prospect Avenue. Prospect Avenue. Why do I have a feeling this is going to be like the governor's house, something like that? Oh, wait, no? There it is. Looks like a big, nice house. Oh yeah, that is a big house. That could be his personal house, or that could be where the... Well, it's probably not where the governor lives anymore. Oh, there's some other ones here. Oh, governor's residence is down here. Look at that. Is that still the governor's residence? Oh, that is not good. Okay, so it is a Everett Austin house. Huh, okay. Okay, so that's the governor's residence. Where is the... Okay, 17 Albany Avenue. 17 Albany Avenue, Hartford, Connecticut. Oh, yep, that makes sense. It being a lumberyard right by the railroad tracks. Right by the railroad tracks and not that far from the river. Hello, Aeon. Welcome on in. You have joined us at a crazy time. To sum it up, very quickly, the guy above me that we are researching, which keep in mind, this is a photo I bought at an antique store in California, was by a guy. It said on the back of it that his name was E.J. Lake. Which we later discovered was a man by the name of Everett John Lake. And then we made the discovery that this guy went on to be the governor of Connecticut. I own a photo. I found a photo of a future governor in a box of random photos at an antique store. And it's like a young photo of him. And you can tell looking at the two photos that, like, here, that, like, they're clearly similar. I think this is, like, one of the craziest things we've discovered in a long time, honestly. The fact that I own a photo of a governor. And it's a photo, like, what we were doing before was, like, trying to see if we could find a copy of this photo. Like, does this photo exist anywhere else? Like, is it in any government records or, like, any government, like, institutions, like in Connecticut, like Connecticut State Library, Connecticut Historical Society, and stuff like that, Connecticut Digital Archive, and I can't find anything. Yeah, yeah, surprise purchase, honestly, I think is an understatement with this one. Like, I'm honestly, like, I'm realizing I'm not talking as much because, like, I'm, like, speechless because I'm, like, really thinking, like, okay, what do I do with this? Because, like, but I think let's go ahead and let's keep kind of researching this. So he was, even though we already kind of know a lot about him, I want to see what kind of fun stuff we find just from doing other things. Does it say where he was born? He was born in Woodstock, Connecticut. So let's just put Connecticut. We know... Well, he says he was married twice. Okay, so yeah, we have all these yearbooks, directories. Yeah, college directory. This is when he was at Harvard, because that's also how we started all this, is that we knew he went to Harvard. Everett J. Lake, yeah, 24 Holyoke. Okay. And then, okay, see directories, newspapers. Okay, census, here we go. I just want to see what this yearbook is. Okay, this is another class report. Yeah, these are all just class reports, not anything that has like an actual class photo. Okay, but this 1920 census record should put us on the right track. Oh, passport applications? Marriage license. Connecticut military state. Yes, okay, yeah. Okay. Well, first, let's look at this 1920 census. Okay, yeah, that's Marjorie. 1948, 51. This is 1920. He wasn't governor yet. He was still it's probably going to say he was in charge of the lumber company. Yeah, it's crazy that he puts himself as merchant when he was like the president. Lumber company, yeah. Okay, so that's hold on. Okay, so 1900 looks like the oldest one we have here. Oh, we might. Oh wait, 1880. Let's also look at that one. Let's see if this 1881 is him. Okay. Rhode Island. Everett. Maggie. Yeah, 9 years old. This would be him. Martha. And Thomas. Yeah, Thomas was his father's name. He was the middle child at school. His father was also a lumber merchant. Wow. Okay. So we got that. Okay, let's look at... What was the other one that I had? It was 1881. 1920, we saw that one. And this one, okay, this one's from 1900, which I think is the oldest. We don't have the 1890. Everett J. Lake, Ava, Harold, Marjorie. Okay, yeah. So yeah, merchant lumber. I think that's all it's gonna say for like most of these is that he was a lumber merchant, unless we get one where it's like he is also a state senator. When he's also like a state senator, maybe it'll say he's like senator. Farmington Avenue, 555 Farmington Avenue. Hold on, let's look up that one. 555. Farmington Avenue, Farmington, Connecticut. Is that near? Okay, it's over here. Is that right? Did I read that right? 555. Yeah. Huh. Maybe it was a country house that just doesn't exist anymore. I mean, yeah, this is like a modern highway now. So who knows? They could have been out in the countryside and now it's just gone, whatever that house is. Okay. Let's look at the 1910 census and see. Okay, so we got... Okay, yeah, Everett, Ava, Harold, and Marjorie. Damn, they had 3 servants. That's how wealthy they were. He didn't have just one, he had 3 servants. Wow. And they were all Irish, which is very common back then. Yeah, Merchant Lumber Company. Wow, that really shows just how much money they had. Oh yeah, sir. Yeah, like they actually are like paid servants. This is 1910 we're talking about. This is, but there still was at this time, 1910. There was a lot of like anti-immigrant, anti-Irish sentiment, that kind of prevented them from getting any other jobs like this. Yeah, 27, 30, and 40. Sorry, I'm just trying to organize my tabs a little bit here so that I have like... I can keep it like a little bit organized. Okay, so next one, 1930. Okay, so yeah, they're living... At this point, yeah, they're living on their own. 1930. He's retired at this point, right? Is he going to say retired? Executive lumber. Okay, so maybe he was not like... He was retired from public office, but he was still doing other stuff. Okay, and they have 2... Personal maid and cook. Oh, their cook is from Sweden. Huh. Katie Furry. Is that... Hold on. Oh, wait, they had no... Hold on. Okay, this is a different house. What street is that? Fern Street. 184 Fern Street? Wait, was that still Hartford? West Hartford, okay. 184 Fern Street. I've seen records with old photos that had no blacks, no Irish signs on various... Oh yeah, those were... Well, the famous one is the Irish need not apply. I think that's like the famous one that like you see a lot of like photos and references to. That was very common back in the day, unfortunately. Okay. 184 Fern Street. 184 Fern Street, Hartford, Connecticut. Yep, that's a big house. Is that it? Yeah, that's a big house. So in that one, yeah, that's the one where they had the different servants. Kate, hold on, was Katie one of the ones in this one? No. Okay. But it looks like when they were governor, or like around this time, this doesn't list any servants. Okay. The 1940 census, I think, is the last one, because he died in 48. This will be the last one he would be on. Oh, whoa, Everett J. Lake living with a butler. Filipino. Huh. He's 60, widowed. Oh. Wow. So unfortunately his wife, Ava. Also, didn't it say here that, like, married twice? Barbara Louise Sykes and Barbara G. Lincoln. Unless he married, like, after Ava passed away? Because everything else before this has just been Ava. Because Ava shows up... Yeah, Ava's in the 1900 census. Okay, hold on. What else? Is he just retired at this point? Bookkeeper. Something manufacturing company? Brush? Is he still living at that same house? No, different house. 102 Maplewood? Yeah. 102 Maplewood. Oh, wow. I mean, this looks like this house has been renovated since then. And it's a big house. It's a nice house, but it's like, I don't know, it's just something weird. There's just something weird about thinking how, like, oh yeah, the former governor just lives on a regular street like this. That just feels weird. Wow, okay. Let's see, what other documents do we have here? I mean, state directory is not going to be that crazy. I don't know what this military record is. State of Connecticut. 17. Full name, Everett J. Lake. 1090 Prospect Avenue. Merchant. No. 46. Married. Dependent on you for support. 3. Are you a citizen? Yes. Have you ever done any military service? Foot Guard Infantry. Captain. Was he just like a local militia kind of thing? No physical disability. Can you do any of the following? Ride a horse? No. Handle a team? No. Drive an automobile? Yes. Ride a motorcycle? No. Understand telegraphy? No. Operate a wireless? No. Any experience in a steam engine? No. Any experience with electrical machinery? No. Handle a boat, power, or sail? No. Any experience with a simple coatwise navigation? No. Any experience with high-speed marine gasoline engines? No. Are you a good swimmer? No. What can he do? This is a terrible application. He can drive and that's it. Which, I mean, in 1917, that's something, but he can't even swim. Oh, and he's a big guy. 5'10", 270? He's a big guy. Wow. But he did, like, it says in his thing, where is it? Here, it says that he was, yeah, I was in the YMCA service with the troops in France during the war. And in this case, the war is World War I. So he was doing more like kind of volunteer work, or like support, YMCA service. Okay. Okay, what's this marriage record? September 1940. Okay. Hold on. What is this? Index of marriages. Okay, wait. Where is Lava? Where's his name? Oh, do I have to actually search it? Hold on. Hold on. What if I just purchase Lake? Oh, is it only looking under the bride surname? Hold on. Oh, Lincoln is such a common name. Oh, it's random. This is not a... okay. Let me just do the lake one again. God, this is... Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, 1921, or 9/21, 1940. Barbara... Oh, really? It says her surname is unknown. Is that the case here? Yeah, it is. Hold on, is there... That's his death record. Is this just gonna be the same thing, but it's just gonna be death records? Okay. Okay, hold on. Is it just gonna give me the date and like that's it? Because we already know that. Yeah, that's... We already know all this. There's not really any new information here. I wanted it to be like if it was like the actual death record. Hold on, wait. I clicked on the wrong thing. Let's look on this. John Lake, child. Spouse Ava Lake. Oh wait, did she already have a child? Okay, we don't really know. Hold on. Passport application. Oh, this is for Harold, for their son. Okay. I, Harold Sykes Lake, a native and Illinois citizen of the United States, hereby apply to the Department of Washington for a passport to be accompanied by my wife, Mary Parker Lake, born February 25th, 1903, at Louisville, Kentucky. Evidence of wife's birth attached. I solemnly swear that I was born in Hartford, Connecticut, 3rd December 1886. My father, Everett John Lake. Okay, so this is, yeah. From Woodstock, Connecticut. None of this other stuff. Manufacturer. Great Britain, France, Italy, Switzerland, Belgium. Is it going to have his photo on the back here? Oh yeah, that's him. Look at that. He looks like he has his father's eyes. He does look like his father. Okay, okay, let's see. Let's look at Find a Grave. Okay. Yeah, that's the photo of him that we see everywhere. What are the other photos? Okay, yeah, and we have this photo. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Governor of Connecticut, a graduate of Worcester Polytech and Harvard University. He was a Republican state representative and state senator before serving as lieutenant governor from 1907 to 1909. He was elected governor in 1920, serving one term and retiring from public service in 1923. He retired as president of the Hartford Lumber Company after 39 years in 1939. Whoa, wait a second. What is this? Was he married 3 times? I mean, yeah, there's Ava, and yeah, died 1935, so that makes sense with the census record. Then Elizabeth Keeney Lake married 1936, but died 1936. He was widowed twice. Barbara Grace Lincoln Lake, married 1940. Hold on, wait. Does this have a thing? Mary Keeney Lake. I don't know if it was... I don't know if it would be childbirth, because she was 60. She was 60 when she died, and we know she died the same year she got married, so I doubt it was childbirth at that point. Okay, that might be a thing to look for in, like, the newspapers. Wow, that sucks to... I mean, to, like, lose your first wife... To lose your first wife, and then... Also, it's crazy that she's not buried with him. She's buried in a completely different... Wait, Cedar Hill Cemetery. Yeah, she's buried in a completely different cemetery. And maybe like a family crypt, and maybe that's why she's buried there? That might be it. Okay. Okay, hold on, is there anything... Because when we looked him up in the marriage search thing here... Oh, wait, no, this! This one right here! This little one. Everett Lake, Elizabeth Gordon. I thought... I saw this, I thought that was a different person. I didn't realize that was him. I thought that was a different person when I first saw that, because I thought, oh, he didn't get married again. So yeah, so they did... Wow, they got married on Christmas Eve. Hold on. When exactly did Ava die? Whoa, wait a second. She died November 25th, 1935, and he got married again December 24th, 1935? Okay, wait, if they got married Christmas Eve, when did she... And she died August of 1936. Did they maybe divorce, like... Did they divorce, like, before she died, maybe? Okay, that's another thing we're gonna have to look at to figure out in the newspapers. Because there's a lot going on here. Okay. Hold on, what was... Hold on, yeah, let's look at this. I wanted to look at this real quick just to see, because if there's any other photos in the gallery. Okay, yeah, it's all the same photo. It's all the same photo. Okay. Yeah. National Governors Association. 50th governor. I think this is what we already read, yeah. Yeah, we already read that on the website. What's this one? I don't know what that is. That's like a weird link that like didn't crop properly. Okay, biography. Okay, this says he was the 67th governor of Connecticut. Born in Woodstock. Thomas, yeah, we already got... He attended Harvard University, where he played for the Harvard Crimson football team and received consensus All-American football honors in 1891. He graduated from Harvard in 1892. Lake married 3 times. His first wife was Ava Louise Sykes, who he married on September 4th, 1895, and with whom he had a son and daughter. Ava died on November 25th, 1935, in Boston, Massachusetts. Her body was brought back to Connecticut for burial in Cedar Hill Cemetery in Hartford. Yeah, okay. But it says she was in Boston, so maybe, I don't know if she was doing something or like... Why was she in Boston? And was he with her? After Ava's death, Lake married Miss Elizabeth Keenly Gordon, the widow of Lewis E. Gordon, on December 24th, 1935, on August 28th, 1936, in Whitefield, New Hampshire. She died on August 28th, 1936, and is also buried in the Cedar Hill Cemetery. Lake's third wife was Barbara Grace Lincoln, a prominent businesswoman and director of the Sage Allen store in Hartford, surviving him by 20 years. Barbara died June 16th, 1968, and is buried beside Lake in Ashford. Lake started his career by working for the Hartford Lumber Company, his father's business. Okay, so it was... He came from money. I mean, it makes sense. He went to Harvard in the 1890s. You had to come from money for the most part. He was president of the lumber company from 1900 to 1939. A Republican, Lake became a representative from Hartford in the Connecticut House of Representatives from 1903 to 1905. He also served as a member of the Connecticut State Senate from 1905 to 1907. Lake became the 52nd Lieutenant Governor of Connecticut under Roland S. Woodruff in 1907. He held that position until 1909. He was a delegate to Republican National Convention from Connecticut in 1912. At the 1920 state convention, he supported the nomination of William H. Hall, a close friend. When the delegates became deadlocked over whom to select for governor, Lake was nominated. Not only did he win his party's support, but he also received more votes at the polls than any gubernatorial candidate had ever obtained before, defeating Democratic candidate Roland U. Tyler by 110,000 votes. Wow. Elected in 1920, Lake became the governor of Connecticut. During his term, a bill was enacted that prohibited child laborers from working more than 8 hours a day. A legislation was also constituted that withheld employment certificates from children who were deficient in required schooling. When Lake left office on January 3rd, 1923, he continued to work for the Hartford Lumber Company, as well as participate in many civic and private organizations. His interest in football did not diminish, and he continued to attend Yale-Harvard games. In 1939, he retired as the president of the Hartford Labor Company after 39 years. Lake died at Hartford, Connecticut on December 16th, 1948, age 77. Okay. I'm really curious if we can find out more about like why he remarried so quickly. And then, okay, this is from the Connecticut State Library, so let's see what this one is. History of Harvard, Connecticut. Try not to be suspicious, but I mean, I know it's... I mean, people, I don't know. It's like maybe people grieve in different ways where maybe, you know, he was grief-stricken and he like saw a woman that he liked and he wanted to marry quickly. I don't know. It's, who knows? And we'll probably never know. Probably never know. Connecticut State Library. It is somewhat unusual that Everett Lake was Connecticut's lieutenant governor 12 years before he became governor. The Republicans, who seemed invincible during this era, broke into factions that allowed the Democrats to win 1910 and likely delayed Lake's efforts to gain higher office. Everett John Lake was born February 8th, 1871. Okay, yeah, we already know all that. Lake's father was a Union veteran of the Civil War and former state legislator who had business interests in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Nebraska. As a child, Lake attended schools in Woodstock, but in 1885, his family moved to Stormberg, Nebraska, where he graduated high school. Okay, that's what I was wondering, because like uh, in his thing here, it says here that like yeah, he went to high school in Nebraska, so that's why. Okay, I do see that we do have ads starting soon. So I'm gonna pause real quick. I'm gonna pause real quick while we wait for the ad to start and to go through. In the meantime, I'm gonna kind of get up and stretch real quick and get some water. I suggest you guys do the same if you're not already hearing me in an ad. So 1 second here. Okay, got to stretch the legs a little bit. We're still waiting for the ads to end. God, this is crazy. I really am like shocked that we were able to that I found something like this. Like I said earlier, I feel like I've been quieter during this stream than normal because like I'm genuinely like racking my brain around like, okay, what do I kind of do? Because this is different from like how we normally research things. Because when it's somebody who's already so famous and so well known, it's like, oh well, you can't really do a ton. Oh God. I think I'll wait for the ads to finish too before I say what I want to say because I want other people to hear it, but and the fact that this ended up in an antique store in California. And it goes to show, you know, like you never know who's gonna like whenever you see a bunch of photos or stuff for sale at an antique store, you never know who's gonna be in them. Also, because like his dad was clearly like famous too and wealthy, so he came from wealth. His dad was also famous, so he might also be in a lot of like newspapers when he was like younger too. Wow. Wonder if he knew the Winchesters, because the Winchesters were also in Hartford. It's entirely possible he knew the Winchesters. All right, I think our ads are over. Okay. Yeah, ads should be over by now. But something I wanted to say, like, before we keep reading here, I'm genuinely thinking about, and I need to do more research off stream for this. I'm genuinely thinking about like contacting some of these like museums or archives and stuff in Connecticut and seeing if they would want it. Seeing if I could donate it to them, and they'd be if this is something they would be interested in. There is a possibility that they wouldn't be, because people need to understand that museums and archives get so many requests or so many donation requests and everything, and they most of the time have to say no, for a variety of reasons. So I wouldn't be surprised or offended at all if they said no. I mean, to give an example, the curators at the museum I work at, they were like talking at a meeting and everything, and they were saying how for the year 2025, they received over, I think it was 1,600 donation requests, like things that people contacting them wanting to donate stuff, and they only accepted less than 100 of them. They only accepted less than 100 of them. So if I contact people and they aren't interested in this, that's perfectly fine. I would not be upset, at all. Yeah, insufficient storage is honestly the main reason. Insufficient storage is the main reason why. Why most museums are nowadays very picky with what they accept in terms of donations. Okay, anyway, where were we with this? Okay, yeah. He was attending Worcester Polytech Institute, the Lake discovered football, made team captain in 1889. Practice was limited to one session a week at Worcester, so Lake often spent his afternoons scrimmaging with the Harvard football team. After he received a Bachelor of Science degree from Worcester Polytech Institute in 1890, he went on to attend Harvard to finish his education and to play football. He went on to attend Harvard to finish his education. Oh, sorry, I just read that. The 1890 Harvard football season was undefeated, thanks in part to Lake, and the 1891 to 1892 seasons were also successful. The newspapers at the time heralded him as one of the greatest line breakers of all time, and he was chosen for 3 All-American teams. Wow. Lake graduated from Harvard in 1892. The next year, he went to work at the Hartford Lumber Company, which his father owned. Nepotism at its finest. By 1901, he was made its president, and he served as head of the company until his retirement in 1938. He also served as either a director or officer of other area companies and banks. He was married 3 times. 1895, married Ava Louise Sykes. He had 2 children, Harold and Marjorie. Hold on, wait a second. I keep seeing things saying that they only had 2 kids, but I could have sworn... Married... Children, Harold Sykes, Marjorie's... Oh, it's... Ava's listed up here. Okay, I got confused because they're all listed here. I forgot that the children part started. Okay, so no, they did just have 2 children. I was just reading the wrong thing. After 40 years of marriage, Ava passed away on November 25th, 1935 in Boston, Massachusetts. Her body was brought back to Connecticut for burial at Cedar Hill Cemetery in Hartford. After Ava's death, Lake married Miss Elizabeth Keenly Gordon, the widow of Lewis E. Gordon, on Christmas Eve, 1935. After a long illness, she passed away on August 28, 1936, in Whitefield, New Hampshire. Elizabeth is also buried in the Cedar Hill Cemetery. In 1940, Lake married Barbara Lincoln, a prominent businesswoman and director of the Sage Allen store in Hartford. Surviving him by 20 years, Barbara died June 16, 1968, and is buried beside Lake in Ashford. Lake was active in the Republican Party. In 1902, he was elected to the General Assembly as a representative from Hartford. 2 years later, he was elected to the Senate. In 1907, he became lieutenant governor under Roland S. Woodruff, and he expected to become a candidate for governor at the 1908 Republican State Convention. The nomination went to George Lilly instead. 2 years later, Lake appeared to have sufficient votes to win his party's nomination for governor, but a split within the Republicans led them to choose Charles Goodwin as candidate. Lake abandoned politics for 10 years, but at the 1920 state convention, he supported the nomination of William H. Hall, a close friend. When the delegates became deadlocked over whom to select for governor, Lake was nominated. Not only did he win his party's support, but he also received more votes than any polls. Okay, yeah, we just read that. And the other one, the party chairman dominated the Republicans. Because Lake viewed his huge victory as one that did not depend on Rohraback, he chose to be somewhat independent in his role as governor. In doing so, he doomed any hopes he might have had at another nomination for office. Wow, okay. So they're basically saying that he was doing his own thing. Lake attempted to operate a government that was open to the public, particularly when it came to showing the state spent its money. He personally visited state facilities and made budget cuts for some of them. An 8-hour workday was also established for children. When Lake left office, he continued to work for the Hartford Lumber Company, as well as participate in many civic and private organizations. Okay, yeah. Then current Governor James C. Shannon said of Lake, outstanding as a private citizen, he brought vigor and enterprise to the office of governor. Our memory of Governor Lake as an outstanding member of our state community and as a public servant is now of the splendid tradition of Connecticut. Lake is buried in Westford Cemetery in Ashford. I like how they list all the... I like this one because it lists all the sources. Okay. And let's go ahead and let's start looking at some... let's start looking at some newspapers. Okay. There are a few things I want to specifically, because I mean, his newspapers are going to have tons of stuff. He's going to be in a ton of newspapers, and we're not going to have time to like actually go through like every single thing. So what I want to do is focus on his time at Harvard, when this photo was taken, and then his time as governor, and just quickly go through the time, because there's going to be like a million things probably. He's going to be listed like a million newspapers during his time as governor, and then the deaths of his wives, and then his obituary. So let's start. So 1889 to 1893. We're going to put Massachusetts. Okay, so we got two things here from 1890 and 1892. I think it's because I put Everett J. Lake. We'll try other ones where it's just Everett Lake and then E.J. Lake too. Oh, are these like... Hold on. Oh yeah, Worcester Polytechnic. A.L. Smith of this city, the valedictorian, other graduates from this vicinity. Oh, this is when he graduated. 20th annual commencement. The graduates from this city were... Oh, these are their essays. Everett J. Lake of Rockville, Connecticut, on analysis of phosphate rocks. Huh. He was a rock guy. Interested in looking at rocks. Okay. And then this other one, this is from when he was in Harvard. New athletes for the BAA. 5 new men last night admitted through athletic preferment to the Boston Athletic Association. Benjamin Hurd Jr., who has been a junior member for some time and who performed remarkably well at the Open Games last Saturday, was admitted for his merit as a runner. Everett J. Lake of Hartford as a football player. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let's try just Everett Lake. Okay, yeah, now we got a lot more. Oh, and I need to sort also by... oldest. Okay, so this is going to be, looks like a lot of it is like his, it's going to be related to football. Oh, wait, is this Harvard's winning team? Oh, wait, is he in here? Okay, wait. Shaw, Harding, Mason, Lake. Him. That's him. I mean, the resemblance compared to the photo is uncanny. That's him. Look at that. Team drawing. Okay, gathering all their men, Yale storms the center, but only results in a 3-yard gain, and Wallace takes not an inch when he attempts to go in behind Rhodes, where Everett Lake is tackling as he never did at Cambridge. That's the only time he's mentioned in here, right? Wow, this whole thing is just for this one game. I mean, the Yale-Harvard rivalry is, like, big, especially during this era. I mean, it's still big, I think. And I don't think he's captain yet. I think he's just... I think he's still just, he's just a player. Everett Lake of the Hartford football team spent Saturday at his home in Rockville. His injuries received in Saturday's game were very slight. Okay. Oh yeah, this is also a time where, like, football was actually, like, properly dangerous. Like, people would die playing football during this era. Like, it's crazy. Okay. So let's see. What else do we got here? What else did this football player do? Everett Lake Crawford. Oh, this is a different person. Yeah, exactly, Aeon. Yeah, before kind of safety gear became way more common. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was like Teddy Roosevelt who, like, helped, like, kind of make football, like, because for a while they wanted to ban football because it was so dangerous. But he kind of, like, stepped in and was like, hey, like, he was able to, like, work to create some, like, regulations and stuff like that. What is this? Another hoax at Rockville. Generous response in the appeal for a mythical person. Okay, I don't think this is... Okay, what about this one? Everett Lake of Hartford University is at home for a summer vacation. Okay, that's... What about this one? This is another football thing, it looks like. A football team has been... Oh, this is... Oh, he also helped a local... A football team has been organized at the high school and is being instructed by Everett Lake of the Harvard University team. Wow. Oh, this is a different drawing. Is a question whether Everett Lake, John Corbett, or McClung is the greatest halfback today. All three have their points of superiority, but Harvard certainly has two of the three best halfbacks in the world. Lake played in the Yale game last year until he was injured. This year, he is better than ever. He bucks the center and runs around the end equally well. No man ever made such an impressive on a rush line as Lake makes. He is not a good tackler, but usually brings a runner down. His weakest point is the catching of punts. Lake will play rush line halfback and will immensely strengthen the Harvard center from withstanding the attacks which are sure to be made against it. Lake has tried his hand at baseball and rowing. Although he entered college last year, Lake is in the senior class, and against Yale, he will play the game of his life. Wow. Yeah, he was good. Okay, wait, okay, where is he here? Oh, is he not here? I don't see him. Huh. Oh, this is Yale. That's why. That's the Yale team. Oh, up here. This is the Harvard team. Harvard's football team. Lake. 28. Right there. I mean, kind of looks like him. I don't know if he actually has one. It looks like he kind of has a mustache. Or that's just like how they drew the shadow underneath his nose. He kind of... In this photo, he kind of looks like Buzz from Home Alone. He kind of looks like Buzz from Home Alone in this. Okay, this is the same. Yeah, that's the same article. Oh, okay, this is the next day, so maybe this is after the game? Harvard and Rail ready for the fray. Oh, okay. It was but 7 minutes before... It was a few minutes before 7 tonight when a big crowd of Harvard men who had been waiting in the depot broke into a tremendous cheer as Everett Lake, with a huge grip in one hand and a white sweater in the other, stepped off the Chicago Express. Right behind him followed one after another Harvard's football players until 23 had filed out of the parlor car. Anything else by Lake? Okay. I don't know. I feel like that's... Well, that's also crazy that, like, I just realized he's playing for Hartford, or he's playing for Harvard, but he's from Connecticut. He's from the hometown of Yale, but he's playing for Harvard. Wow, he must have been seen maybe as like a traitor by like his family if they took it that seriously. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this might be the results. Oh, this is just part of it. Hold on, wait. I want to go to the first page. Page 1. Blue triumphs again. The score 10-0. Yale led off strongly. Brilliant scene at the park. Result in favor of New Haven Giant. Oh, so Yale won. Okay, hold on. Here's another... Okay, wait, so this is Lake. That's him. I mean, yeah, that looks pretty close. Wow. It's crazy that we have all these drawings of him from this time, but we don't have any photos. Okay, we already saw this one. Big crowd at the opening game. Thousands of baseball lovers at the South End. Oh, this is just a baseball. It's a baseball game, but he's saying that he was listed as what game? Wait, what team was this? Played Boston, which was played by Boston and Baltimore at the South End grounds in the afternoon. I wonder what team this is, because I don't know which Boston baseball team was around in 1892. But it's crazy that he was famous enough that, like, he was listed in the newspaper as, like, the famous people amongst, like, state senators and legislators. And, like, that's how famous he was for football. Wow. And this is just the beginning. Because, I mean, he's going to go on to be governor. Let's see. Hold on, what is this? Clouds burned away by the sun, orations and poems. For the first time in Cambridge, annual mad rush for that old tree. Harvard Class Day has gone. Like everyone before it, this latest Class Day seemed to those who special property it was to be the best and most enjoyed of all those celebrated in Cambridge. Oh, is it listing just all the people who were present? The men who were entertained were... Yeah, okay, so it's just saying that he was there for this thing at Harvard. Okay. Learning the game. Tough football players on the campus. Many candidates present themselves for the fall training. Everett Lake joins the Harvard men whom Captain Trafford is leading. Tufts College. Till Thursday. Anything here about Lake? Football at Harvard. Oh, okay. Everett Lake joins the candidates for 11. Yesterday's practice of the Harvard football candidates was a repetition of the work performed the day before. The candidate of the rush line passed the ball about and fell upon it until Trafford thought they had done enough, and then they were sent in. The men who are trying to show their ability as center rushers, quarterbacks, halfbacks, blah, blah, blah. The most important addition to the candidates was Everett Lake, who was out catching and punting the ball. Lake seems to be in good condition and prepared for a long, hard campaign in the fall. Okay. Still doing good in terms of football. Okay, let's see this one. Let's see. What was this one? Harvard's 11. Lake may not be able to play again, but Lee may take his place. During the last week. First, that Lewis will not play center. Second, that Lake will not play at all. And third, that Lee will play. The injury which Lake sustained about 2 weeks ago has proved to be much more serious than was at first supposed, and although the battering ram of the last two Harvard teams may once more be seen on Hampden Park, the chances of such good luck seems small. Lake in one of the practice games against the second 11 collided with Acton so hard that the former was unable to play again that day and was assisted off the field. It has since developed that the impact caused by the blow disturbed his back, spine, and the base of his brain to such an extent that further playing would be attended with great risk. Even if Lake were physically able to take his place on the team, his former style of play would undoubtedly have to give way somewhat to his efforts to protect his weak spot. Although nothing official has been given out, it is plain that the two considerations given above have been enough to change Captain Trafford's plans and to put Lake on the list of men who are temporarily at least out of the struggle for positions on the team. That the loss of Lake will be severely felt by the Harvard team need not be said. There never was a halfback on any football 11 who did such execution as Lake has done. He was the most formidable line breaker. His great strength, endurance, speed, and pluck? Yeah, pluck. Made him almost invincible. And few rush lines have been able. I think they forgot to finish that. Even if his progress were checked, the force of Lake's rushes was so great that after a few attempts to stop him, the sturdiest rusher found himself not quite so bold as he was, and not quite so eager to tackle the man who ran like 1,000 of brick. Dang, this guy was a beast. Especially, and also is showing just how dangerous this is for the time. For 1892. Okay. Let's see. see. By 32 points. Harvard defeats the crack Chicago team. Gray Waters put up a splendid game. Yale rolls up a good score against YMCA. Okay. That's good. Okay, it doesn't look like he was there. Because it says here, who's brushing through the center is almost equal to Everett Lakes. So I don't think Lake played this game. Or they're just making reference to him. Okay, and then this one, I think they said November 19th was when the Harvard game was going to be. Harvard-Yale game. When Yale won. Hey, Ocean, good to see you. Welcome on in. You're joining us at an interesting time. To sum it up very quickly, the guy that you see above me is a photo. The guy above me is, according to the back of his thing, all it said was that it was a man named E.J. Lake, and that he went to Harvard, Harvard College in 1892. And I bought this photo, mind you, at an antique store, a random antique store in California. And turns out, after doing a little bit of research, this guy was also the governor of Connecticut. I somehow found the photo of a future politician in just a random box of antique photos. Yeah, it's crazy. He was governor from 1921 to 1923. Born 1871, died 1948. Yeah, it's been insane. To the point where, like, I'm actually considering, because every research we've done of this guy is, like, showing photos, like, where he looks like this era, when he was, like, governor and everything. And you can tell it's the same person, too, if you look at them. Like, they look very, like, that's clearly, like, the same person. And I haven't found any photos from when he was younger, because this is his college photo, basically. And I'm genuinely considering, like, donating this photo to, like, a historical society in Connecticut, because I haven't found anything that, like, shows him this young. So yeah, so that's where, and right now we're looking at photos, because on top of all this, of also being the governor of Connecticut, he was, where's a good, he was also, this is him right here, he was the captain of the football team, American football team in Harvard, while he was there. And he was a very, very popular one, too, like was star player on the college team. So that's what we're looking through right now, is we're looking through his football era. Yeah. Yeah, see here, this is talking about a famous, because there's a famous, in college football, there's a very, especially this era of college football, there's a very famous rivalry between Harvard, where he went, and Yale. And you can see here, okay, so far, every inch of ground has been fought tooth and nail, and the gains on both sides have been very short. But now Laurie Bliss gets a good start and dashes around Emmons and for it 15 yards to be finally brought down by Everett Lake, who is adding to his strong offensive game brilliant defensive work. Is there anything else about Lake here? Doesn't look like it. So yeah, this has been crazy. Oh, and also that he was married. Hold on, we have his. Yeah, his thing here. He was married 3 times throughout his life. His first wife, who he was married to for 40 years, unfortunately died in 1935. In November of 1935, and then less than 2 months later on Christmas Eve, he married this woman, Elizabeth Keeney Lake. And then less than 8 months later, unfortunately, she got sick and then she died. And then a few years later, he married a woman named Barbara Grace Lincoln. So this guy had a crazy life. He also came from a wealthy family, and a political family in Connecticut. Just all kinds of crazy stuff we've been finding with this. Let's see. Let's see. Thank you, Ocean. Yeah, I know it's crazy. This is one of the craziest things I think we've ever found. This is up there with some of the craziest things we've ever found on stream before. Let's see. Okay, what does this say? In the course of time that I have been introduced to Captain Turford, he came in here one night with Everett Lake and one or two other players. We talked for hours. I went over very minutely some of my plays. After a protracted session, they told me that while they were very pretty on paper, they had little belief that they would work in an actual game. So I asked Lake if he would play me a game of football right then and there. He said yes, whereupon I brought out a perfectly constructed football field, 5 feet long and drawn to a scale with mathematical nicety. Oh, wait, I don't think this is anything we really need right now. Let's see. More football. Okay, hold on. Now you just watched Charlie Brewer, said Everett Lake as he kneeled in the mud on the side of the field. After Fairchild had screamed more figures than a man could learn by heart in a week, Lake knew what those figures meant, and sure enough, the curly-headed varsity fullback tucked the ball under his arm and started on a 55-yard journey, while the long-legged Greenway in the end wondered where he was at, as he found himself sitting in the wet sod and the Harvard sprinter going. Wow. Wait, so does it say who won? Oh, continue from the first page. Well, let's go back to the first page. They have a thing here. Oh, here we go. One goal each. Tie game between Yale and Harvard. Okay. So it was a tie game. Okay. this one? Football men going to summer practice. Okay, Everett Lake will accompany the candidates as coaches, and a couple of weeks' practice will be put in learning the science of the game. Huh, okay. Let's see. Oh, more. Oh, yeah, okay, this is 1893. So yeah, Everett Lake was with the boys, but will not act only in the capacity of a coach. He will give the halfbacks all the assistance in his power. Lake will probably not return to Harvard. Yeah, because he had graduated, I think, at that point. He's just an instructor. Trinity's football team. Harvard, Connecticut. Announcement was made this morning of the selection of Trinity's football team as follows. At first glance, will be played on Saturday at Worcester with the Polytech Institute. Everett Lake of Harvard is coaching these men. Okay, so now he became a coach. Now that he's... Yeah, now that he's no longer... playing, necessarily. Yeah, he's helping coach. Yeah, George Stewart, Everett Lake, Allie Porter, and Steve Crosby coached the Harvard candidates yesterday. Okay. Page is this after this? Oh wait, what is this? Oh, Everett Lake's old position, so he's just comparing him to somebody else, so that's not... What is this? Tried the Lulu. Second 11 made 10 yards by it. Lake's coaching kept Harvard hard at work. First 11 took half an hour to score. Yeoman seemed to be falling off in play. Everett Lake, in a new football suit, went out on Jarvis yesterday afternoon, took his stand just back of the second 11, and by coaching and encouragement put such life into them that they gave the varsity the hardest fight they had this season. The first half practices was 30... Wow, okay, so yeah, so he's helping coach still. Oh, what's this one? The best halfbacks. Everett Lake, the heavyweight halfback, has been with the 11 since the beginning of the season. His familiar figure, clad in a crimson sweater, is pointed out by the spectators as the best halfback Harvard ever had. Wow. And you would think this is where he peaked, but no, he goes on to become governor of Connecticut. Wow, this is nuts. Okay. Um, let's see. I think, okay, just because of time, I think we need to, I want to move on to figure out, uh, some of his, like, political stuff. So I'm just curious, uh, I'm just curious, before we get into his, like, government stuff, I actually just want to see, before he became governor, how often was, well, I guess he was a state senator and stuff at that point. So he'll probably show up. And let's make it Connecticut. Oh, yeah. 3,295 matches. Uh, wow. Oh, what if I change it to J? Because maybe there are other Everett Lakes, in Connecticut during that time. Wow, three. Oh, that's overwhelming. This isn't even his 3,129. This isn't even when he's governor yet. He doesn't become governor until 1921. Right? Okay, 1925 is likely when, or 1920 is when he was running. So I want to see if we can find his, like, he wins thing. So that would be, I think that would be 1920, like November 1920. Okay. Uh, okay, hold on. Let's see. Interest of Connecticut on top tickets. Republican enrolling Tyler, Democrat in gubernatorial rate. Okay, so they haven't done it yet. I want to find a thing that's like, oh, he wins. Oh, wait. Lake and Fenn exchange best wishes. Governor-elect Edward J. Lake, Senate Congressman. Oh, wait, no. Okay, so he's governor-elect, so he already won by that point. Right? Oh, wow. Carry the state by nearly 100,000. Gubernatorial every day long. Republican leads Democrat 199 to 104. Wow. General Assembly will probably have fewer Democrats than ever before. Okay, wow, yeah, that's... Okay, so when was the... Hold on. Go back to the beginning. What is this? Republican ticket. Okay, this is just, yeah. Okay, yeah, this is during Harding. This is during Harding's presidency. Okay. Second. Lake to run strong. It is expected that Everett J. Lake, Republican nominee for governor, would carry Hartford by a substantial majority. Yep, that's what happened. They were correct. He had huge support. Wait, what if I change to Everett Lake? Hold on. Not J. Ah, okay, here we go. Here's something. Everett Lake for yeah, there we go. There he is. Right there. Governor, okay. Here we go. Here's another one that I think shows numbers. Senator Robert J. Lake elected governor. Okay, yeah. Harding, our next president, sure of 275 electoral votes. That is true. It's like back then it took a while for them to like really, you know, like get the message or to tell everybody because it took so long to count everything. Yeah, and this is like the copy of like we've seen this photo in like other places. Like this is just a bad like version of it. Okay, and then I also want to look. I mean, yeah, this is gonna. Are there any other ones that look like they're underneath a photo? Yeah, nothing. Oh, wait. Oh, this is the thing talking about football. I'm curious. Governor-elect Lake to don football togs tomorrow. Governor-elect Everett J. Lake of this city will get into football again for a few minutes Thanksgiving Day afternoon. He has agreed to kick off in the game between the Ramblers and Tigers of this city. Always a fierce contest. Mr. Lake was an All-American selection in his football days at Harvard 30 years ago. Wow. That's fun. I like that. All these years later, he's still interested in playing football. All these years later. Okay, and then one other thing. I want to find out what happened to his wives. Okay, so Everett Lake, okay, what date again did Ava? November 1935. Okay. Oh, quick, I could have to do this. Wow, not much. Is there going to be... Okay, let's see if there is anything here that talks about... In Brookline, Massachusetts, November, Everett State's beloved wife, the ex-governor, Funeral service private. Okay, not much really. Ex-Governor Lake's wife dies. Miss Ava Sykes Lake, wife of former Governor Everett J. Lake, died in her home in Boston, Massachusetts, Boston Monday of a heart ailment. Okay. That at least says what it was. Former Governor Everett J. Lake of Connecticut died Monday in Boston following a heart ailment. Mrs. Lake was born in Rockville and had been an invalid for 5 years. Oh. Oh, okay. This is interesting. So she was already suffering. So that's her husband. She leaves a son, Harold S. Lake, of Hartford, a daughter, Miss Juan Leonard of Brookline, 2 sisters. The funeral will be held today. Okay. And will be private. We would in the family vault of Cedar Hill Cemetery. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I think what this means. Okay, this is just personal theory. I don't have any proof of this yet, but considering the fact that she died in November of 1935 and like less than almost a month later he marries Elizabeth. They got married. Hold on, I still have the thing here, right? Yeah, they got married on Christmas Eve, 1935. Almost a month, less than a month after her husband died, or her, yeah. But because if she was already sick for 5 years, so if she was already sick for 5 years and they got married so quickly after she died, my personal theory is that because she was so sick, because she was not, able to, like, the term they used was invalid, but that could mean a lot of things kind of during this era. What it says, what I think is that he was probably already seeing Elizabeth while she was sick. But that's just my personal theory. We don't know for sure. Oh wait, yeah. Is there something for anything else for because she died in Massachusetts. She had been an invalid for the last 5 years. She was a native of Rockville. So that's her husband. She leaves a son, a daughter, 2 sisters. Okay, yeah. And a brother. Funeral service will be held tomorrow at the home of her sister here, with burial in this city. Okay. Yeah, nothing really new there. Hold on. Let me look up the definition. Yeah, all it means is that a person who is weak or unable to take care of themselves on account of illness, injury, or a health condition. It just meant, yeah, she couldn't, for the last 5 years, she couldn't take care of herself. And she needed assistance. Which also maybe explains why she was in Boston. Or in Massachusetts and not in Connecticut. What if we just changed all to 1935? It could be, yeah, that he was staying in Hartford. and she was in Massachusetts receiving care. Oh, here's an older photo of him. Wow, look at that. Yeah, he definitely looks older than the photo we have. Whoop. Hold on. Didn't mean to do that. Again, though, you can still tell it's him. You can definitely still tell that it's him. All right. And then... okay, then when did his... Okay, then I want to also change it to December. Yeah, for the wedding. Everett J. Lake, ex-governor, weds on Christmas Eve. Widow of Lewis E. Gordon becomes bride at home wedding. Former Governor Everett J. Lake and Miss Elizabeth K. Gordon, widow of Lewis E. Gordon of 46 Scarborough Street, were married Tuesday night at Miss Gordon's home by Reverend David McKeith, pastor of the Asylum Hill Congregational Church. A waiver on the 5-day law was granted by probate judge Walter H. Clark after the marriage license was issued by the Bureau of Vital Statistics Tuesday afternoon. Mr. and Mrs. Lake planned to spend the winter in Florida. In applying for the marriage license, the former governor gave his age at 64, while his wife is 59. Governor Lake was the state's chief executive for one term, elected in 1920 by the largest majority ever given a candidate for the office until that time. He came out of a 10 years retirement from politics to lead the Republican Party to victory that year. A native of Woodstock and a graduate in 1892 from Harvard, where he made a lasting reputation as a halfback on the football team, and he was elected to the General Assembly of Hartford in 1902. 2 years later, he was elected to... Okay, page 26. Hold on. So I want to see if they talk about her and like what her story is. Because when did her husband... There you go. Does it talk about him? Oh, it only talks about him. I don't want to know that. I want to know more about her. Because when did... Actually, wait, hold on. If we go here... When did her husband die? Okay, 1916. Okay. So it had been like 20 years since she married. It had been 20 years since she was married. Okay. Former blah, 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 married in Hartford. Okay, yeah, that's just a less detailed version of the article we just read. Okay, here we go, about this one. Ex-Governor Lake wed Christmas Eve. This is crazy that they did it on Christmas Eve. It's like the thing where it's like, in every Hallmark movie, like, they always have to be like, oh, we have to get married before Christmas, or the wedding's on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, and it's like, nobody, you always think, like, nobody does that, that's crazy, but apparently they did. Apparently he did. But I feel like it was such a small reception that, like, it didn't matter, maybe? Ex-Governor Lake wed Christmas Eve. Let's see. A waiver on the 5-day law was granted by a probate judge after the marriage license was issued by the... What's the 5-day law? Okay, this is also just pretty much the same thing. What about this one? Okay, no, this is nothing. This is not what we need. Okay, and then when does she... She died August of 1936. Okay, August 1936. Here we go. Yep. Ex-Governor Lake's wife dies in Whitefield. Mrs. Everett J. Lake, wife of former Governor Everett J. Lake, died in Whitefield, New Hampshire this morning. Mrs. Lake was the former Mrs. Louis E. Gordon of Hartford and leaves her besides her husband, a son, Andrew Gordon of Farmington, and a sister. Mrs. Lake's marriage to Mr. Lake took place this year. Mrs. Lake has been in ill health for several weeks. Former Governor Lake was with her at the time of her death and today started for Hartford in an automobile accompanied by a hearse bearing the body of Mrs. Lake. That really does suck to be married. They were married for less than a year and that happened to them. How about this? Ex-Governor's Lake's bride of year taken by death. Anything else? Any other new information here? It looks like it's pretty much all the same. Yeah, this is just the same thing. This is the thing for like the funeral. Oh yeah, deaths. Funeral service at her late residence. Okay, yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's a photo of her. There we go. It was formerly Miss Gordon, wife Louis Gordon. Socially prominent here for many years, Mrs. Lake was formerly a member of the College Club, the Hartford Golf Club, Hartford Smith College Club, and Town and County Club. Besides her husband, Mrs. Lake leaves a son, daughter. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is good, though. We actually have a photo of her. Nice. Okay. This looks like it's all the same info. Yes, it is. Okay. Let's see. One last thing I want to look up here. We're gonna look up as like a final thing here. We're gonna look up our guy's obituary. So it's September of 1948. Okay, here we go. This looks like a good one. Has a photo of him. Oh, yep. Look at that. The same guy almost over 50 years later. Same guy over 50 years later. You can still tell it's him, though. Let's see. Everett J. Lake, 77, who served one term as governor of Connecticut from 1921 to 1923, died yesterday at Hartford Hospital after a brief illness. The first announcement that he was a patient at the hospital came yesterday afternoon, only a few hours before he died. Lake, a retired lumber dealer, won the Republican nomination for governor in 1920, his third try. He did so in the face of opposition from the late J. Henry Roraback, who was then building up the machine that made him the undisputed Republican boss in Connecticut. Born in Woodstock, Lake was educated at Worcester Polytechnic Institute, finishing the 2-year course there and receiving the Bachelor of Science degree at the age of 16. Wow. He later attended Harvard, where he was an outstanding halfback on the football team, being chosen for Walter Champ's All-American team in 1891, along with such stars as Pudge Heffelfinger and Hinkie of Yale. Lake is survived by his widow, the former Barbara Grace Lincoln of Hartford, his third wife, whom he married in 1940, by a sister, Miss Arthur C. Commons of Worcester, Massachusetts, and a son and daughter by his first wife, Harold S. Lake of Reddington Beach, Florida, and Miss Marjorie Lake Leonard of Brookline, Massachusetts. Funeral services will be held Monday afternoon by the Asylum Hill Congregational Church Chapel, and burial will be in the Westford section of Ashford near his birthplace. Lake's death reduces the number of living ex-governors of Connecticut to 7, all of whom served after him. They are Charles... okay, this is just listing all the people. Bingham and Snow served only a few days each. Bingham resigned to fill a vacancy in the U.S. Senate, and Snow, a Democratic-elected lieutenant governor, succeeded Baldwin when the latter went to the Senate late in 1946, shortly before his term as governor expired. Wow. Okay. I want to see if there's another... That's a good one, but I just want to see if there's another... Everett J. Lake. Okay, let's read this one, and I think we'll call it here. Everett J. Lake. Connecticut has never had a chief executive who played the game of politics with more zest, just because he thought it was the duty of every citizen to be interested and active in public affairs, than Everett J. Lake. In business and politics, he was as hard-hitting as he was on the football gridiron, where he gained immortality among Harvard pigskin greats. As a companion, he was delightful, a good listener, and a good storyteller. Everett Lake entered politics in the days when no one man dominated the Republican Party. In 1903, he was elected representative in the General Assembly, where he was chairman of the powerful and hard-working Committee of Appropriations. With the late Senator Alexander Pattison of Simsbury, he advocated the pay-as-you-go policy for the Senate. This was a popular slogan later adopted by the Roraback organization, although J. Henry Roraback and Mr. Lake were never political allies. In the House in 1903 and in the Senate in 1905, Mr. Lake was a powerful figure. Elected lieutenant governor in 1906, he made no secret of his ambition to be governor. That ambition was to be deferred until 1921. Despite the fact that the Republican Party had for some years promoted the lieutenant governor, it passed him by in 1908 in favor of George L. Lilly, who died in office. A bitter fight for the nomination developed in 1910 between Mr. Lake and Charles A. Goodwin, who was Governor Weeks' executive secretary. Mr. Goodwin won the nomination, but lost the election to Judge Simon E. Baldwin. More than a decade passed before Mr. Lake became a power in Republican politics. In 1920, he was working for the nomination of the colorful Colonel William Henry Hall of Wilmington for governor. In a deadlock convention, a delegate from East Hampton, by voting for Everett Lake, set off a stampede that not even the powerful J. Henry Rohrabach and lesser leaders could withstand. Mr. Lake realized his ambition. He was nominated and elected. This belated triumph disclosed something of Governor Lake's political philosophy. He was not a stand-patter. In 1903, he advocated women's suffrage. And when the bill got mysteriously lost in the assembly, he threatened an investigation. Wow. He was a natural for the women's vote in 1920, the first year they participated in the national and state elections. In his legislative career and in the governorship, Mr. Lake showed a degree of independence hardly expected in so friendly and affable a man. If his term as governor was not distinguished by some outstanding achievement, at least no man bossed him. His selections for appointments were his own, the high and mighty Rohrabach machine to the contrary notwithstanding. And he expressed the sentiment of many Republicans in 1924 when he opposed the election of Governor-elect Hiram Bingham to the Senate. To his way of thinking, the governorship of Connecticut was not an honor to be tossed aside after serving a governor for a day. In this and in many other ways, Everett Lake exhibited a ruggedness of character and an appreciation of principles of which he and the state could be proud. Wow. That's pretty cool. And I own this guy's photograph. I own a young photograph of this guy from his college years in 1892. Wow. I don't think we can top this really as like a good send off for this stream, reading that. So I think that's where we're going to call it here. Wow, this has been crazy. If for some reason you're just joining or you didn't see the beginning, basically the photo that we're researching today that's in the top corner or right above me, turns out the guy was the governor of Illinois. Or not Illinois, sorry. Governor of Connecticut. I don't know why I said Illinois. Grace, thank you so much for following. Welcome on in. Welcome. But yeah, this... This has been a crazy stream where we started with just this photograph and the writing on the back of it, and we ended up discovering that it's an old photograph of a political figure. And like I said I said this earlier, I think I'm gonna look into it and see if there's an organization in Connecticut that maybe would want this photo, a historic like society or something like that. Because I mean, he was only a governor for one term, but still, it's a part of their history. Yeah, this definitely was different. Although this is the second time we've had a governor. We did in one of our patent research streams. We did find another governor, a governor of Ohio, who patented a prank letter, which was also crazy. But yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and let's go back to our office here. Yeah, this is this is all we started with, was this. The writing on the back of this photograph. E.J. Lake, Hartford, 1942. Or 1890. Jesus, wow. I'm getting... that's how I also know I need to stop. I'm getting tired and I can't read anymore. 1892. Wow, this was awesome. This is really awesome. So let's go ahead. Let me put this away real quick. And make myself a little bigger. All right. So yeah, thank you so much for being here tonight. If you're new here, I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. I do these history research streams every Sunday, and normally every Sunday and Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yesterday I was busy, so instead we moved it today because today is a holiday in the U.S. and I had the time. So the next stream is going to be on Wednesday, where we're going to be researching a different photograph that I bought in an antique store, and we're going to go from there and see what we find. I don't know if we're going to top this though. This is going to be hard to top. Also, down below, I also have linked my Twitter and YouTube channels if you want to check those out. On my YouTube channel, I actually have done some research or some shorts on like some of our things we found in our research. So if you want to check those out, I highly recommend it. And then let's see, what else do I normally say? I don't know. It's like I said, the fact that what we found today is so crazy that like I really don't know what to say. It's crazy. Like I really feel like I'm at a loss for words. But let's go ahead and let's see if we can find somebody to raid. Let's see. Who do we want to raid? Who is live? This is the part that always takes me a little bit. Do. Let's see, there's... let's go ahead... Oh, whoops, no, I didn't mean to click that. Dang, I had somebody and then I lost it. I accidentally clicked out. Alright. Let's go ahead and let's raid this person. They're doing a reading stream right now. This is... Oh god, I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce this right. Ritual. That's what it is. All right, that's what... I didn't realize that at first. All right. But yeah, let me go ahead and get this raid message going. And yeah, good night, everybody. Hope you guys had a good. If you're an American, I hope you had a good holiday weekend. And if you're not, I hope you still had a great weekend and good start to your week. With it being, just being Monday and all. God, whew, that's how I know I'm getting tired. There we go. All right, so yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and raid this person. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night wherever you are. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday where we keep doing this. We do this again. But yeah, have a good night, everybody. Take care.